What's going on, my Liberian people, my people from around the world, wherever it is you're watching this video from. If this is your first time here, my name is Stefan, and on this channel I talk about Liberia, and I basically use the YouTube platform to promote Liberia and promote others to be involved in Liberia, especially if you're from the country. So in this video, I want to talk about a project that I'm involved in, and it's actually my first project in Liberia, first of many, hopefully. So I kind of just want to explain what this project is about, inspiration, what we're trying to achieve as a group. So if this is your first time here, or if you're watching this video like backdated, this community started in early of 2022 officially, and I'm filming this video in October of 2022. And I'll be sharing updates about this project, and I'm gonna even create a whole new playlist. So if you're watching this video at a later date, this will be the first video in this playlist labeled Brewerville Community. So if you feel like you want to be updated on this project, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Also hit that notification bell so YouTube will alert you every time I post a new video. And while you're down there, go ahead and take a second to hit the like button so YouTube can push this video out to other people. So when I went to Liberia last year, it was my first time going back since I left, basically since I was 2 years old, and I left Liberia in 1990. And I went back last year for the first time. Now there's different reasons behind that. I'm not gonna jump into this video why it took me so long to go back to Liberia. But just to put it out there, I guess as Liberians, we're not really trained to go back to our country to do anything. We're pretty much just on the survival mentality, just leave the country, just stay away. And if you never go back, there's really no repercussion or nobody's gonna talk back on you. So yeah, I didn't go back to Liberia for a very long time, almost 30 years. But when I went back last year, I mean, it was a bittersweet feeling. I mean, I was happy to be back to the country where I was born, but I could definitely tell that the country was lacking development and modern amenities and just a lot of things we take for granted in the Western world. People back home did not have that. So when I came back home from Liberia, was just doing a lot of research online. I just went searching everything Liberia just to see what people are doing, what's going on, what's the word on the street. And that's when I came across Emma's channel. I saw that she was in the land business, and I knew I wanted to buy land, to own land in Liberia, because there's so many Liberians that come to America and UK and they live there for years and years. I'm talking about decades, 10, 20 years, and they never buy land back in their country. And I didn't want to be like one of those Liberians who was born in Liberia. I'm a Liberian, but I don't own any land in Liberia. So I wanted to buy land. So I contacted Emma, and she did help me get a couple pieces of land. And as we started to build our relationship and talk more, she talked often about this community concept. And there was one other gentleman who had bought 2 lots in this area that, you know, she was thinking about starting a community up in. So at that moment, I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of. We spoke about a lot of different problems in Liberia, and we were gonna attempt to solve these problems in this community. Obviously not solve the problem for the whole country, but just serve as an example to others that, you know, things like this can be done. I haven't seen anything like this in Liberia. Now, yes, there's other communities that's purchased by investors and they build a lot of houses and sell those houses, but I've yet to see a project where Liberians came together and pitched in on different things and created their own amenities and everybody built their house. So I definitely wanted to be a part of that. So I bought a few plots of land in this community area, and as she was selling land, we were putting different things together in different plans. And then, you know, came the time that all the lands in the community was sold. Thank God for YouTube and the power to connect. Just want to throw that out there. YouTube is amazing. So maybe some of y'all even thinking, what makes the community even special? Why is this concept so dear to us? So like I said, we were trying to solve a lot of issues in the country. So let's talk about the first one, regulation. In America, for example, there's different regulation when it comes to purchasing land and building a house, or even different things you can do. Like there's residential, there's commercial, there's agriculture. You know, there's something called zoning. So if you buy land in, let's say, a residential area, well, you cannot do any commercial activity. You cannot do any agriculture in that area because this is called zoning. In Liberia, they don't have this. You could buy a nice piece of land, build a very nice house. Next thing you know, your neighbor come and put zinc there. Or next thing you know, somebody open a chicken farm over there. And now you got to deal with wild animals and chickens every morning and crazy things like that. There's just no regulation. So the very first thing we're going to create is some sort of order, regulation. So these are all residential plots that's being sold. So everybody that's buying land in this area knows that they can only build a house. That's the first step. The next step, certain kind of houses. Like I mentioned, we didn't want any zinc. Not even said zinc roof. We didn't want to see that. We don't want to be lazy with this. We want this to be a model community. So no zinc, no chicken farm, no commercial activity. We're all going to build houses that look modern. I can hear y'all talking now. Well, if I buy my land in Liberia, how's somebody going to tell me what to do with my land? Is that my land or my land? I can do anything I want to do with the land. So the same people that say that one, right? Y'all will come to America, right? And y'all will follow all the regulation. The homeowner association, HOA, would tell you you must keep your grass cut. You would do it. You must put your trash can in the back of your house. You would do it. You would follow all the people rule, all the people regulation. But as soon as you come back to your country, how dare somebody tell you what to do with your land? And this is what I refer to as backward thinking. And you'll often hear me say that on this channel, backward thinking. Is like, why bring that kind of negative mentality back to your country? You should be thankful that there's some regulation, that your neighbors won't mess up your property value by putting a chicken farm next to your house. But instead, it's like we have that ego trip. We don't want anybody to tell us what to do. Like, this is my land, I'm gonna do what I want with it. So we're trying to bring some of these things back to Liberia, and I think these things are much needed. So another issue we're looking to solve is the issue of just protecting your land. Now, we know Liberia is notorious for people selling land twice, 3 times. Like, you go to see your land you thought you bought, and now next thing you know, somebody is telling you that they bought the land, and now you guys are in court or trying to go after the seller, or maybe going after each other. So by us having land next to each other, we only need one person to watch that land, as opposed to 15 or 20 people getting 20 other people to watch their land. We only need one person as a caretaker, and this person is very familiar with all the lands and everybody who owns a plot. So that's another form of protection against people squatting on your land or trying to double and triple sell your land. Now, we see that everybody has a fence around their compound. Obviously, things are very hard in Liberia, so it's not unheard of for people to try to break into other people's houses, especially if they know that nobody's home. So another form of protection is, making this a fence community and having security guards that will be patrolling the area, security guards that will be watching the entrance to make sure and monitor who's coming in and out. So it's almost like one of these gated communities in America. And another problem that we're aiming to solve in Liberia, or in this community as an example, is we're going to have a water/septic system, and it's going to be one that's more modern. Now, in Liberia, when I went back last year, I hated seeing this. First thing, people have the water coming out the water tank. Some people don't even have a pump. So your water that you're going to take a shower with, it comes from the water tank that's in your compound. And some people don't have a pump. So I've seen trucks manually fill this up with water, which makes me think like we're back in the 50s or something. And I hate to see septic tanks in the compounds. And some people don't have the dissolvable septic. They actually need a truck to come and suck all the waste out of the ground. And some people even be lazy with the pipes. Like, you'll see pipes on the side of the house, going around windows, on top of the ground in the compound, and you don't even know, is that like water from the tank, or is that some kind of poo-poo water, or like what's going on over here? It's 2022, so yes, people can get very lazy with these things, but this is considered common in this country, which to me is crazy. So something we're going to be doing in this community is we're going to be building a modern water/septic system. So for water, we're going to be having an underground reservoir, and we're also going to have a dedicated area that we're going to keep the water tanks, which will have water pumps that will have enough pressure to provide water to the entire community. And we're going to have a dedicated area where these tanks are going to go. And for the septic, we're going to have a septic tank that's underground. It's going to be dissolvable. It's going to be hooked up to all the houses. And basically, when we use the restroom, it's going to go in the septic and it's going to dissolve. It's going to recycle the wastewater. It's going to spread out under the ground. It's going to be almost like we have something in America or UK. We never see where the water comes from over here. We never see where the waste goes. It's pretty much out of sight, out of mind. Now, some of y'all probably thinking, why does dude keep comparing Liberia to America? Don't he know this is Africa? Well, that's part of the problem. We put ourselves under the pedestal, so we make it seem like it's okay not to have stuff that's modern that people been using for 2-3 decades, yes, I'm going to compare it to America because I want Liberia to have those same standards. I want Liberia to one day be in the same light as a Western country like America or UK. Is that so wrong? Is that so far-fetched? I mean, if we all get together on the same page, then it can happen faster than you think. So a lot of times on this channel, you're going to hear me comparing things from Liberia to America, and people often try to check me and say, oh, you can't compare Liberia or America to Africa. I mean, yes, I can, because that's the direction we want to go in. So it's not negative. It's trying to say that, you know, I want to hold Liberia in a higher light. And that's just how I see it. I think we have the potential, especially if we're putting it out there and we're coming together and organizing these things. It can definitely happen. And we're going to prove it in this community right here. So water septic system, we're actually going to get started on that very soon. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I will be documenting this whole process. So again, if you're not subscribed and you've made it this far, go ahead and do so now. And also, if you're enjoying this content or you want to keep seeing content like this, go ahead and smash that like button. It lets me know that I'm providing value for you guys. And this area, Brewerville, does not have any light yet, especially where we're building. We're one of the first people developing in this area, so the government has not brought any light poles out here yet. So there's multiple options that I've been researching personally for power. So we know that a lot of people are starting to use solar right now, but what happens with solar systems or solar panels in the rain season when you don't have that much sunlight? Well, then you're going to need a backup generator to work hand in hand with your solar. And if the rain season goes extended periods, then you could use that generator longer than you anticipated, which could be costing more fuel costs. And the fuel cost is crazy in Africa. So I've been doing a lot of research on wind turbines and using wind as a source of energy. And I've actually had a couple people reach out to me from content that I made in Liberia, offering services for wind turbines and offering guidance and advice because they want to see me pull this thing through. So I'm leaning to the wind side, but maybe we can use it hand in hand with some solar, some wind, and maybe one of those big commercial generators that can power the entire community. So another thing we're going to be doing is looking to buy like 2 lots or so as a community where we're going to have the water tanks and maybe a big storage facility for all the power cells we're going to be using for the solar and the wind. Because when you have a solar panel, it has to store the energy somewhere. And similar with the wind, the energy has to be stored. So when that wind turbine is spinning and it's collecting wind energy, it has to store it somewhere. When them solar panels are on the roof and the sun is beaming on it, it has to store the energy somewhere. So we're looking at a dedicated area that will be like a energy storage facility area again, so it doesn't have to take up room in our compound. If you only got 2 lots of land, then you don't want a water tank in there, an area to be storing power for your solars. Like, you don't want to take up all these rooms. You want to enjoy your view, the ocean view, be able to come on your porch, look out, see some, you know, beautiful scenery. You don't want to see a water tank, a storage shed for batteries and all these crazy things. So that's what we're aiming to do, and that's one of the things that's on our agenda. Now, these are the main projects that everybody has signed up to partake in, but I've also talked with a few members about doing little extra stuff like buying land to make like a park, or buying land to do like something, a area where we can use for cookouts, or, you know, that the public can use or enjoy, or maybe having like a recreational facility, a gym, a public pool. You know, a lot of these things that are not in the country, we want to add more value to the country. So even though we signed up for these main projects I just discussed, we're not limiting ourselves to the possibility of this community. And simultaneously, as this community is being built, we also have another group of investors with Emma, myself, and some other people involved in the community, and other investors that are not involved in the community. We're going to be building a oceanside resort in this same Brewerville area, and that's going to be something that I share on this channel as well. I'll put that in a different playlist because we already have started doing a couple minor projects. We haven't started constructing yet, but I want to share these things with you guys. And again, why am I sharing this content on this channel? Because I want to inspire Liberians in the diaspora. I want to motivate people. We want people coming back to Liberia to build in that country. The lack of development in that country is kind of disturbing, if you ask me. So we want more people coming back home. We want more people building. We know there's a lot of negative sentiment towards Liberia. You know, oftentimes people tell you, oh, Don't go back home. The people will steal your money. They will do this one. They would jack your phone. They would do all these things. But you know, a lot of these things we're already experiencing in America. And when I go back to Liberia, it's like a feeling that, you know, I don't get being anywhere else. And I can't wait to have my home built in Liberia, at least so I can go back for longer periods of time. And you know, whenever I'm in over here, my daily life in America, I run a couple of different businesses, and I'm always trying to be financially stable and try to do more for my country, you know. So that's the main objective for this channel, for creating this content. Right now, I'm not getting paid for this. So if you want to thank me, go ahead and smash that like button, even drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, share this content with other Liberians or other Africans, or maybe some African Americans who have interest in Liberia. And I'll make sure to keep posting this content. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I don't want to let this video run off too long. So look forward to the next video, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be alerted every time. And I'll catch you guys next time around. All right.